Can we really surpass COVID-19 in the society? By Evangelou, Gatchalian. We are all affected by the pandemic, the quarantine, and all the substantial alterations that made our life isolated from the crowded hallways of what life really is. All of us are now in the darkest chapter of our lives, locked up in our own houses, and embracing the real fight of life. But how scary can the coronavirus disease be, especially when people are trying to overlook how dangerous it is? It has been more than a year since our planet Earth seems to stop because of SARS-CoV-2, or most commonly known as COVID-19. The said virus, which originates from Wuhan, China, spreads dramatically fast, which is now affecting almost all countries worldwide. The Philippine government decided to implement a nationwide quarantine, preventing every Filipino from going outside and thus preventing them from getting affected. This has been devastating. Companies and businesses were affected, and that is why, like a domino effect, every Filipino worker cannot put food on their table anymore. Businesses are closing, the economy is going down, Filipinos are suffering. But then again, just like a bamboo, which doesn't easily break and sways with the wind, retaining its position, Filipinos are resilient. We are tough and we are strong against any calamity and catastrophe we combat with. During the time of Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda, as we can remember its shattering effects on the Visayan region, Tacloban was one of the greatly affected areas. By then, Filipinos helped each other. The world poured aids and relief to those who were affected as well. We survived every disaster just like any typhoon like Ondoy and Ulysses which came to our country. Yet, no matter how many people are concerned, worried, and sacrificing to help Filipinos, we still choose to live like we're free to the COVID-19's grasp. We live like it's June 12, 1898. Most of us don't understand the danger and the risk of leaving our home to have fun, and I personally think that this is something necessary to act about. We always forget to realize that COVID-19 is much scarier than we expect it to be, that it is a natural massive killer of a race. We should be scared to death because we are already at death's door, and we can't know when will it knock. It is very important to stay alert, especially in the midst of this dangerous time. I think this is truly imperative to consider. Individuals need to understand that COVID-19 isn't gone at this point, and that we need to keep social distancing. That proof shows how it's more secure for you and others if you remain at home and break point cooperations with others. We ought to do however much we can to lessen the cases in our district and our state. Social distancing isn't the most pleasant thing, yet it is what we should be finished. If we started relaxing up and became unaffected about isolating, we may get a second influx of COVID-19. That implies more cases and more passing, which ought to be stayed away from no matter what. Now, let us beat this pandemic with our Filipino spirit. This is the best time to show the world that we can surpass the adverse effects of this pandemic, COVID-19. Let us change the disturbing days with encouraging days, telling each other that just like any storm, the sun will rise again and better days are coming. As an evidence, initiatives are being seen in every barangay and town in the Philippines. One example is the numerous community pantries every group is organizing. This only shows that despite the situation we are in right now, the urge to help a fellow Filipino is greater. The idea of being vaccinated is also being embraced, which will slowly lessen the chance of spreading the virus. This past year has brought several life-changing experiences. There's no going back to the way things were before. Life is no longer the same. We've got the scars to show for it. We can't hide our vulnerability or the physical, the emotional, and financial frailty of our life. Many of us have been driven to our knees by the sorrow of 2020. When we can see the things differently and the only place to look is heavenward. Please sing just like every smile a Filipino has. A pleasant day, a hopeful day. It is because as long as we have hopes, we will indeed get through this pandemic. We, as a nation, will end this pandemic real soon. I am Evangelou Gatchalian, expressing my gratitude to the people who patiently listen this persuasive speech. Thank you.